All right, everyone is being recorded.
We're good. Okay, start this meeting for June 27th, Hcdpa meeting. 4:30. Voting, can I have a roll?
Mayor Kamal Johnson.
Present.
Planning Chairwoman Teresa Joyner.
Present.
Majority Leader Margaret Morris.
Yep.
Minority Leader Dominic Morante.
Here.
And Housing Authority Chairwoman Rubonda Smith.
Here.
Thank you.
Has everybody, before sending that out, Logan, has everybody got a chance to read the minutes?
Yes. Thank you. Yes.
Can I get a motion to accept the minutes?
I'll make that motion. I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passed. Okay, guess you're up there, Mr. Logan.
Cool. So last meeting, we talked a little bit about,
Are you pulling up the documents or?
oh, I should, this on post. Yeah. Can people see my screen? Or watch it? That's.
Not quite yet.
There we go. There we go.
Yes.
See that?
Yeah. Thanks.
Great. So I have 4 mission statements. We talked a little bit last meeting about whether we wanted to keep our mission statement as is or add a little supplementary something about oversight or about an audit or something like that. So I can read through our options, I guess would be the easiest way to do this. A, which is our current mission statement, foster and promote services to low to moderate income persons who reside in Hudson and to administer other resources to promote community development. B, the mission of the Hudson Community Development and Planning Agency is to foster and promote services to low to moderate income individuals living in Hudson through yearly audits and the provision of resources. We offer oversight and drive community development to address housing disparities. C, the Hudson Community Development and Planning Agency's mission is to develop and maintain healthy, vibrant neighborhoods that provide economic opportunities for low to moderate income persons living in Hudson. To fulfill our mission, we take an integrated approach by fostering partnerships among all levels, government, the private sector, and nonprofit organizations. And then our 4th one, D, that Teresa offered up, to foster the sound growth and development of our community and safeguard our residents' safety, health, morals, and welfare. Our goal is to focus on replanning, reconstruction, redevelopment, rehabilitation, restoration, and conservation of our city. This will be achieved by implementing public and private improvement programs and encouraging private enterprise and participation in these initiatives. So I guess I can kind of go over why I did the first 3. So first one, obviously, that is our mission statement. It's pretty succinct, and I'm comfortable with that if we are. The second one includes oversight and our yearly audits. We talked about that being our sort of current role with the Hudson Housing Trust Fund. And then the third one kind of talks about working in an ecosystem with private, with government, and nonprofits to complete that mission. And then Teresa, did you want to talk about yours?
Well, I when I sent the email, I had gotten it from the website. I put it in the email. Did you read it?
I did.
And I got it from that government oversight of municipalities, right? Right, it kind of really got it right out of there.
Okay.
You know, and it's really saying almost the same thing as C. Because before I looked at the website, I was picking C. But with that, it's saying basically the same thing. So if that both of them can be incorporated, I think we'll have a pretty good mission in my opinion.
So I think is that as long as, it goes toward the statutory regulations, that it matches the statutory regulations, right?
Yeah, I think that's probably the most essential thing.
Right, so, I don't know if we're planning on making a decision today, but maybe we should bring it to government, so then, Chris can chime in and everything they sound great, but just to make sure that they parallel any kind of statutory regulations that we have to do, on the other side of it.
Mhm.
What's your thought, Chris? Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I just muted so I wouldn't interfere. Yeah, I think, which one are you leaning towards? C or D or some combination of that?
Yeah, I was leaning towards B because it brings in the audit process, which is not present in C, but I also like C. Either one is fine. The
So,
only,
yeah, the only thing, sorry, Margaret, go ahead.
I'm done. Well,
The only thing I would say about B is that it refers to fostering and promoting services, and I think that might be straying from your statutory purposes. I think C and D are more consistent with that.
I'm thinking leaning on C and D, incorporating both, because it really is what we are doing. It's not being so specific in that,
the only thing on D that I would strike is the reference to morals, because we don't really get into people's morals.
yeah, I mean, I think the original, and with some of the, components,
C and D? Steve?
I definitely don't want to stray away from. The original.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So who would be in charge of getting, the governance committee?
I mean, is that something we should do then, Chris, and just, let government look at this a little bit more and then bring it back?
Certainly if you want to have governance, craft something that you are all, provide some input, make sure that you all agree about, what's your basic goal here, and then governance can craft the language if they want to. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay, so. But
And the focus would be on some combination of C and D, correct?
No,
No.
why would you keep it A and then combining some of C and D?
Right, or the whole thing, just one statement that may take something from all four, A, B, C, and D.
Okay, for governance committee, I can kind of combine some combinations, but then I'm happy to step back and let, people choose what.
Okay. So right now, we're all good. I'm just turning this to the governance committee for their review.
Mhm.
So
Good, Logan?
the next one was the bylaws overview. We had talked a little bit last month about some of the bylaws, maybe not exactly reflecting how we currently operate. Although Chris had pointed out to me the amendments sufficiently do kind of cover how we operate, and that just the amendments coming after in 2023, I think covers us mostly. But I'm paraphrasing what Chris said, so I'll let her speak.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what your questions are, but Logan, the questions that you pointed out, you were citing language from the 2022, which has now been superseded by the 2023 amendments, where we simplified the process so that the mayor appoints the chair and the board appoints the rest of the officers, which is, I think, what your practice was this year after we adopted those amendments, right?
Correct.
So that was the process. The mayor appoints the chair and then the rest is decided by committee.
Yeah.
by the board, by the full board. Mhm.
We elected, didn't
No.
we elect a chair?
No.
Because you were appointed before and you stayed on, is that how?
Yeah, you make a walk.
That's to the mayor's decision,
Okay, so that was my misunderstanding. So it seems like that's all proper there.
because when you sent us this thing, you sent it just the opposite, right? Did I read it wrong?
Yeah, I said that the amendments and the bylaws were sort of conflicting, but Chris pointed out that the amendments may, supersede the bylaws, so it's not an issue that we have both on the website.
Okay, so we're good with this? Financial report?
Yep. So audit approval, we have me, and then we have the CDBG City of Hudson reimbursement that we agreed to in January, I think, before I was here. And then the RCMP.
Are you sharing anything?
No, I'm not.
Okay. And Logan and I reconciled the accounts yesterday. We reviewed.
Right. So those reconciliations were posted, profit and loss is posted, and the balance report all posted on the website.
Okay. So we just need a motion to pay the bills,
Yeah, for the three separate bills.
3 separate bills.
Make
Okay,
a motion.
Second.
Her BB, she.
No, I thought you made the motion.
Should we go bill by bill? Is
I
that
don't think it's
typical?
necessary.
You really don't need to.
Okay, that's fair.
You can present a slate of bills, I think. It's up to the board, but
yeah, we saw the net, and that's all.
Council, we
Well,
don't.
I'm fine.
Okay, great.
All in favor?
I,
Anyone opposed? Motion passed.
Great. And then no resolutions or motions, I don't think.
We don't
So
have any. Nothing, right?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, old business, like Miss Michelle.
Okay, so we had our housing trust fund meeting this past Monday. Basically, we kind of just got updates on projects and we're looking to, in July, kind of workshop our budget so that we have that approved and ready for you all in September. I just realized that our date, July 10th, is the first Waterfront Wednesday. And I think a lot of our members want to attend that, so we might be rescheduling the date so people can make that. So I will let you know early next week about that. Upcoming next month will be my salary invoice since Q2 ends today. And also we'll look into what we want to do with the housing trust fund money that's in the CD, because that's expiring. So looking at the budget, what we want to keep and what we want to put into that. So that'll be coming up. For Hudson Roots, this was a really active month. So we had 13 payments made. The total amount spent was about $8,300. And I gave you in the report kind of the breakdown of where they were. I think one thing that's important to highlight is out of the 13, 10 of the payments were all below $500. We're getting more and more into the practice of as soon as someone has something come up, the landlord reaches out so we can intervene quickly, and this way people don't fall behind. So that's been really helpful. And some of the larger payments, most of them are outliers. Some of them are just really unique situations that come up. So it's been really good to have this in process. We're also, Joan Hunt's been working really hard at trying to figure out all the different resources in the area. So she's putting together, we're gonna have like a kind of a convening with all of the people who are doing rental assistance and figure out what the different rules are. So we can she's doing a good job of this, of leveraging them in the right order. So like GSF has the most funds, so sending people there first and kind of figuring out which is the best organization to cover this place. But it's hard for tenants sometimes to be like, oh, call this person, call that person. So if we can make it easier to understand, if we understand which organization has what available and what the rules are, then we can make it easier for tenants to access funds. So that's something that Joan is working on, but I'm also involved with over the next few months. So that is Hudson Roots. And then the last thing is that the CDBG, the project, a grant ended on Monday. We have finished all the projects. We have another month to finish up all the admin and kind of the final pieces, but it's really exciting. I'm putting together some before and after photos. So next time we meet, I can show you guys like a presentation of how they looked. And yeah, thank you all for your support with that. It's the first time anybody's done a program like this. And yeah, thanks for
beautiful, thank you.
You learn from the errors.
With
But you did it.
Yeah,
You really did. You pulled it off.
yeah, you did an
You
amazing
know,
job.
right, and you stuck to it.
Yeah.
And I know you got it from both ends.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I think it also establishes a good template, you know, for future,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
for bigger and better.
yeah, because I mean, like, half of the first year was just figuring out like which reviews to put out and how to do rental reviews. Now we have all that stuff done.
And remind me, I have a suggestion, but when you do it next, how you do start,
Okay,
you know, maybe get me, another thing, an inspection done first
yeah,
to tell you what this house needs, because to go in there without knowing.
yeah.
I know, I did my kitchen and it cost me more than my mortgage.
Yeah, yeah, we had gone in with like a rehab specialist, but I think we said putting some money into having like a home inspector.
Exactly,
And then also.
and let you know what's going on here. Maybe why can't we get the code enforcement to do it, or somebody from his office? They are licensed to do that.
Yeah,
I mean, be the code enforcement for the city of New York, I mean,
Yeah.
city of Western.
Rig's really great about that. The one thing is like, once they see something, they have to act on it.
Yeah.
Oh.
And if they're living.
And so, kind of like,
They would be closing up sometimes.
if these applicants are coming in, sometimes it's good to go with like a third party and understand the situation.
Okay, I understand.
But I think it is getting Craig and Bill's code involved earlier in the process. This year, we didn't like, we kind of showed him scopes of work at the beginning, but he didn't actually get to like see things in person until the work was halfway through. And then he noticed so many things. We went into the project with the state's perspective, which is
Yeah.
like mold, asbestos, blah, blah, blah. And then Craig goes into like fire safety. So I think knowing now, like there's multiple perspectives of looking at building health and from the beginning going into all of them. So this way the budgets will be really accounting for everything possible.
Great job.
Well, the county has that healthy neighborhood too, that they might be able to go in
Mhm.
and assess for mold and fire extinction, you know, all
Yeah.
those things.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay. Do you supposed to use success stories somewhere, like after these projects are finished?
So that's kind of, I think some of the goal, I think is to talk to some of the homeowners, like get some permission of where they're comfortable sharing, and then, like Usha had mentioned, trying to do an article in the paper, and, you know, kind of showing some of that.
But I do want to ask, was some of these, were they partnered with loaners by the homeowners?
No, so some of them, like there's some projects that's like, we could do, the grant only allows you to expend a certain percentage of the value of the house.
Mhm.
And you can't spend more than that. So for some of the homeowners, like we said, we can get you to this point, and if you want to do more, now you can get a loan. And then the thing too is now you've done all this work, so it's gonna be a lot easier to get a loan. And the next month is kind of closing out some of the pieces, so I'm gonna like talk to the homeowners and like, okay, here's where we left off, here's all the paperwork you need, here's the next steps, here's something to support you in the future. So that's still a piece of doing.
Yeah, because I think when Housing Resources did it back in the day, it was some type of, it was connected to the homeowners. Yeah, because, it was connected.
Did they do, I think they might have done 50%.
Yeah, something like, exactly, it had something to do with,
Yeah, there's no match was asked by homeowners.
Yeah, and I think they had stipulation that if he sold it within a certain period of time.
Yes,
he'd come
exactly.
back.
Yeah, we have that. There's an agreement that we filed with the county. Like they've got 5 years, if they sell in the next 5 years, they have to pay back a certain amount.
Thank you again, Michelle. So we get the Galvin loan demand letter, how are we?
So the demand letter for Galvin, when that came up before, I had a demand letter ready to send out. We were just waiting for Galvin to actually complete the form, which they still have not done. And the sense of the board was that you did not want me to do that. You wanted me to send a letter accepting their statement that they would make the full payment in July. So I cannot send that letter out until they need to fill out the form, but also I need to get a restatement of the final payoff amount, because every month that passes, the amount changes. So the numbers that I had ready to go in April are no longer accurate. I have to get a restatement from the auditor. And really, ideally, they should complete, they've been asked more than once to complete the form. that acknowledges all they did was send an email and they still have not responded. So at this point, I think I will just get the auditor to give me a final amount. And I'm not gonna ask for the form to be completed. I'm just gonna send them a demand letter for the final amount. And because at this point, we've asked them multiple times for the form and they have not completed.
Yeah, and the loan matures fully
In
July 1st.
That's correct.
And that's,
So, and so at that point, I can get a fixed number that says this is what you owe us full payment due immediately.
yeah, with the acknowledging the previous amendment,
Acknowledgement, yes.
all that previous communication, I think
Yes,
we can
correct,
work together on that.
Can I ask you a question? After July, if they don't pay, are they in default then?
They've been in default for 2 years.
I mean, because they haven't paid anything, but can we go after them legally? I mean, you're not a lawyer, right? You're not going after them
Wait,
legally.
but Teresa,
Yeah.
we've said before, I'm sorry, we have got to have demand letters submitted. We can't, proceed until you've made a demand from an administrative perspective, okay? You have, I need you to make the demand for payment and identify the amount that you're saying that they.
I had one ready to go, I had one ready to go in April and the board didn't
Right.
want me to, so I didn't send it. Because you wanted to change it to reflect accepting what they were saying about July. And when I had spoken with Chris and my understanding was it didn't require board action, so I was ready to send it. But I deferred to the board's opinion when you were fairly strong about the fact that you wanted to change it to acknowledge acceptance of their statement about the fact that they would pay us in July, which was not what the demand letter was going to say. So now I think we just send them a demand letter with the final amount that is due. And at this point, the auditors have this loan on the books as a potentially bad loan that they may not recoup because they have not been making any payments. So they do not, their perspective on this loan is that they do not have high confidence in
But
it
we
being.
never went after them, but like, once you send the demand letter, I think, when we get to the point where we have to go after them legally, I think there'll be a change in the way they see things. Right now, I don't think we've done that. Like you said, Chris, you're saying we have to send them a demand letter. I don't think we've done it other than
Get some soft letters way back.
Just
soft letters way back when.
This call out.
Yeah. So you were sending them, we were sending them letters way back when, soft letters, right? From
Sarah.
Sarah.
Sarah reached out, I think, a couple times maybe, and
Okay.
then,
And then, but we've never really, so now we are going after them to a point where, when it can be legally done.
Well, it's gonna be, yeah, I mean, the demand, like Chris said, I think once we establish the demand letter, right? And that also helps with the auditors, right? Because now we're being proactive. So the auditors say, yeah, we're trying to get, resolve this loan here. So
Yeah.
without any documentation.
So is this like the creditors when they come after us for not paying our bills?
Yeah, I'm hoping that one demand letter is gonna be sufficient, especially when it's due in July.
yeah,
Right, so
I
it's
think
not-
we include the previous conversations we've had with them,
Mhm.
the email communication, that the loan has matured, and all this different documentation, we include that all in. We send it to them, we email, we establish.
And the ones we sent from Sarah, that Sarah sent, right?
What's
I
that?
think Sarah was
The
sending.
ones that Sarah sent too, say, listen, these are all our correspondence.
I'd have to go back into the files to see what exactly she sent them. I can't speak on that, but I think with July 1st setting, we just need to establish some form of contact with them, with the demand letter.
Yeah, I think it would be a difference. It's a shame that we don't have it set up in the city where if, and I guess it can be that way, but if one person doesn't pay, they can't get nothing from the city. It's like the bank, if you owe one bank, you ain't going to no other bank.
Mhm.
It would be nice, because if you owe one bank, you can't get nothing from another bank. It's true, if you owe a bank.
So I think Margaret has the scope to do that. July 1st is a couple days away, and we'll proceed like that. I think that makes sense. That's within her scope of pressure.
And I don't think we need a motion, we're just in agreement that that's what's gonna happen, right,
Yeah.
Chris? We're good, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the last old business was the floodplain progress. I know, Dominic, you,
Yeah, so, talking with Chris and the engineer, right? So the work is being done. and the engineer company is gonna go back and re-inspect the work when they're done. They're gonna go to the engineer, and so they can go back and close it out. Is that how I read it, Chris?
That's right. And the engineer confirmed that they communicated with the project owner's engineer and that they would alert them when they're ready for inspection, when the project is complete.
So do you think we're gonna run out of money on that, or the escrow?
I don't know. I don't.
The escrow has $1,300 out of the 5,000 total.
I don't know how much they can charge for re-inspection. I don't know. I mean, that's something we're gonna have to look and see. I mean, you know, what to I mean, all they have to do come back and do the re-inspection, so, and see what that looks like. They know what we have, so they can't go any higher.
They put in a task order,
That was their quote anyway, so.
and they didn't put in another one, so that's true. They'll be within the 13. I mean, within the 5.
Sorry about that.
Nice, nice.
So Margaret, we did decide that
What's next?
your letter.
So I'm just going to do a final letter with this, what you owe us, it's due immediately, right?
Yeah, with the previous
And I get,
communication.
right, and I'm gonna get the final payoff dollar amount from the auditor.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Thanks.
Okay, so we get new business?
No new business. I think in the coming months, I think the most important thing to focus on is that galvan.
Yeah. Any public comment?
Well, there are people online. We have 2 members of the public online.
Any public comment online?
There's no hands up.
No hands up?
No.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
A second.
All in favor?
Hi.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good one.
Thank you.